All right. It's a great day in South Florida. My name is Chris Igoe. Welcome to Living in South Florida. And today we are going to discuss exactly what's happening in the Florida real estate market, specifically South Palm Beach County, because we are entering a new housing market in Florida. All right. So recently I did a video talking about home prices are about to drop. And I want to go deeper into what I meant there because I got some feedback from you, the viewer. In fact, shout out to Paul Domorsky. He sent me an email today and asked me to explain what I meant by that with more clarity, because there might be some people confused out there by what I mean when I say that price drops are coming. Well, price drops are coming. We see that. I did a video that you can watch up here or in that corner. I'm not sure which, but you can check out that video if you want to learn more about what I had to say there. But specifically, what do I mean by price drops? I think there may be some confusion by what I say when I say price drops, when people talk about market price, when they talk about home values. What exactly does that mean? Now, to me, it's obvious, but I'm in the industry. I do this all day long. It might not be so obvious to you, so I wanted to drill deep here. So I'm going to read the email and then I'll address exactly what the questions are. But it goes on to say, Chris, when you talk about drops in home prices, are you talking about drops in asking price, from last sold price, or from Zillow/market price? Because there's a big difference, and which do I see coming? He goes on to say that some buyers bought a house and put it up for sale less than a year later, 3 times for what they paid, and dropping the inflated price to me is not a price drop. What do I think? I may want to do a video on this. Well, I do want to do a video on this, and that's what I'm doing right now. So let's break that down. And first and foremost, and I've done lots of content about what I'm about to share, so you can check out those videos up here too. But the overall market dynamics, there are lots of different variables that exist within that, right? So the economy plays a big part in that, right? So if you feel like, and this is all, mental, right? So you're a homeowner. If your 401k is performing at an all-time high, if your stocks and bonds and mutual funds, your investments are at an all-time high, then chances are you probably feel quite affluent. You probably feel quite secure. You probably feel on top of the world. And that is a tremendous feeling. However, equally and conversely, when the stock market is not performing well, when your stocks, bonds, mutual funds, investments are not at all-time highs, in fact, they may be worth 30 or 40% what they were worth a few months ago. Well, equally, you might not feel so good. You might not have such a strong opinion about your affluence. You might feel terrified. And that's what I mean when I talk about the psychology of the market. And the psychology of the market right now is getting beat up. I mean, anybody who looks at their stock market performance over the last few months or last year is probably feeling a lot less wealthy than they were, when it was at a different point. And that's just the way the market goes. That's just the way the economic conditions and cycle goes. Economies go up, economies go down. Markets go up, markets go down. Values go up, values go down. Prices go up, prices go down. But what we've seen is inflation go through the roof. So the cost of goods and services have gone through the roof. And we've seen all kinds of different things that have happened over many years that are now coming to bite us in the butt, and we're having to pay the piper for the can that the government kicked down the road when they did all of the things that they've done over the last decade or so. And this is going back to 2005 and previous to that, right? So they've printed money and provided stimulus and did all kinds of things in order to prop up the economy and prevent systemic failure. And now we're suffering from that and paying for that. And it's just the beginning of that cycle. Well, how do I know that? Because I'm definitely not the smartest guy in the room. Well, I look at some of the thought leaders and the top industry leaders that are out there. So if you look at some of the things these guys are saying, like Jeff Bezos, like Elon Musk, like any big corporate executive right now, they're all talking about there's an oversupply. The market dynamics are changing. You see, was it Walmart just came out with numbers, and they talked about their oversupply, and they're going to make reductions to bottom line. They're going to, let me just say it differently. They're going to fire a lot of people to ensure that they don't have the same issues moving forward, period. They hired too many people during the pandemic, and to go out there and grow. Amazon was opening up a new Amazon super center, I want to say once a day for, and it might be even more than that. I'm not 100% positive, but they've been opening one a day. That's an incredible growth rate. And the truth is, they're going to stop doing that. Amazon just missed their numbers for the first time ever, or maybe not ever, that's not true, but for the first time in a long time. And I can promise you that's not going to ever happen again. What are they going to do? They're going to stop opening up so many stores, and they're going to fire a lot of people. And what does that mean? It means it's going to have I'm going to use the term trickle-down economics, which is an old school Ronald Reagan saying, but it is what it is. That's exactly the truth. When Amazon stops buying real estate in scale the way they have, so that they can go out there and open a distribution center, I called it a super center, a distribution center every day, well, what impact does that have on the rest of the economy and the rest of the region around that super center? It means that is going to feel pain. It means that the local dynamics of the market where they were doing those things is going to change. And that has to happen. It's also not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to be felt for a while, but we're already seeing those initiatives start to happen. They've already started to happen. So that just means that the economy is changing. And I argue that that's what's supposed to happen. That's healthy. Doesn't mean it feels good. It just means that's what's happening. So economic conditions are changing, period. That's what's happening. And they are shifting to a more recessionary and or depressionary cycle than we've ever seen. And that's just what it is. So with that, as the Fed starts to tighten their fiscal policy, which is the opposite of what they've done in the past, as they start to make changes, as they start to make money tighter, economies of scale, big corporations that are dependent on easy money or different. For example, venture capital funds have basically disappeared. It's going to be a much more challenging environment, period. That doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it unhealthy. It just makes it the reality of what we have to deal with. And the content that I do is intentionally to provide you with the most and best information that I can give so that you can make the best decision for yourself, for your family, and for your financial bottom line. So let me bring this back to real estate, because I went all over the place here and I hope it made sense so far. But I think it is fair to, that I think we can all agree that we are going in a different direction economically, where it will be more challenging, where there are likely to be more layoffs and there are likely to be less easy credit. I think we can all agree on that. Okay, well, what does that mean as far as real estate's concerned? What does that mean right now if you're looking to buy a home in South Florida? I did talk about price drops that are absolutely coming, but what does that mean in terms of values of home? Because are those even the same thing? That's what we're going to discuss right now. So Paul asked, when I talk about drops in home prices, I'm talking about exactly that. I'm talking about the fact that your home or your real estate or whatever you want to sell, that's only going to be worth what someone is willing to pay for it, period. Doesn't matter what kind of market we're talking about. if you must have a ready, willing, able buyer who is willing to pay whatever that price is. And if there are no buyers that are willing to pay that price for whatever that thing is, real estate or otherwise, then you are overpriced or there's no market. And we all know that's not the case in real estate. There's always a market. Real estate will always trade. It is always a good market for someone. But let's address the price drops. Well, we are seeing right now, and I talked about it in the last video, which you can obviously watch up here, but we're seeing a lot of homes that are getting price reductions. We are seeing a lot of homes that are sitting on the market longer than they have relative to the not so distant past. It is now not uncommon for a home to sit on the market in certain places for 30 or more days. Well, in the heat of the frenzy, that wasn't happening. There was very little time on market and everything sold. That's not happening today. Well, why is that? That's because the demand has dried up and the easy credit and the low interest rates have all been absorbed. So now new buyers who are out there that are shopping at 5+%, and I do want to make this point, you marry the house, you date the rate. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about buying or selling, because as rates change, you always have the ability to refinance. And who knows what that's going to look like and when the timeline for that is. But at some point in the future, if the interest rate is lower than what you are currently paying, then you refinance the home. And now you're married to the house, but you're dating the rate. All right, but I got off topic here. Getting back to what I mean by price drops. So there are lots of sellers that have an opinion of the value of their home that is not current with what the market is willing to pay. They're out there and they are overpricing their homes. They are pricing their homes with what they hope a buyer will pay. Well, if you are listing your home with having taken a fresh hit of opium, I got news for you. Chances are that home is not going to sell. And I can use my where I live in Canyon Trails as the perfect test ground for that. There are homes that have been listed that I've consulted with the sellers and told them exactly what we would do differently to get their home sold and how we would create a market within a market to get their home sold and how that's always 100% effective, which it is. But they rejected it and they didn't want to hear that. And they resisted what I was telling them, which is the truth about the market dynamics. And then they went out there and they listed their home that wasn't supported by comps, which is comparable homes, or any recent sales. It's just what they wanted. But when I have someone who says that they want to overprice their home or price it what they think it's worth, not what it's going to sell for, what they think it's worth, I tell them go big. And instead of overvaluing the house by $100,000, let's just overprice the house by, make up a number, $200,000, $300,000, $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, $100 million. Doesn't matter. It's not going to sell. And that's because homes that are overpriced will not sell in this market. Homes that are priced appropriately absolutely will sell. There is demand for that. And I have plenty of evidence of that. There are lots of people that are afraid out there right now that are afraid that the market is dried up and that there is no demand. That's not true here in South Palm Beach County, period. Yes, there is more inventory, and yes, I expect there will continue to be more inventory, but homes that are priced right, that are in good condition, will sell, and they'll sell quickly. And I use myself as the example of the 4 last listings that we got. They all sold in record time at record prices, but we created a market within the market intentionally to ensure that that would be what happened. And so if you're thinking about selling and you're here local and you want to learn more about that, then please reach out, leave a comment down below. We are always here to help. But the trends that I talk about are exactly that, trends. And all of those trends are lagging. The only thing that I can talk to with accuracy as being current is what happens on a day-to-day basis, which I share about. So when people talk about, in fact, when Paul asked about home drop or price drops, Well, if you just bought a home yesterday and you want to sell it today, are you likely going to get the same price? Or are you going to get more than what you just paid for your house a day ago? Probably not. Are you going to get the same amount if you bought your home last month? Probably not. But the real estate market here in South Palm Beach County, in certain areas and certain markets, has appreciated so fast, so much, that it really depends. You don't make money when you sell your home. You make money when you buy your home. So if you bought your home at the right price and you sell it when there's appreciation in a market for it, you're going to make money. So depending on when you bought your home will dictate how much equity you've built up in it. And that's what when I talk about the equity that sellers have in their home. That's what I mean. People who bought their home last year, the year before that, the last 5 years, 10 years before, any time before that, are likely sitting on a tremendous amount of equity, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when market dynamics change, if they happen to be in a scenario where they have to make a hard financial decision, chances are they're going to tap out all of that built up equity, the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And those who think they're at risk for those dynamics, those are the people who should be thinking about selling now, because of what is likely to happen. But I don't know what the right decision is for anybody. I don't pretend to know. That's why a thorough, deep dive conversation, getting to know what the motivation is as to why somebody's buying or selling, is always the most important of any consultation that we do. Because if I don't know what you're doing, then I don't know how to best I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to best serve or support you in getting what you want. So it is critical that we know exactly what you want so we can help you get what you want. All right, so that being said, I hope that answers Paul's question. But he also then goes on to talk about Zillow values. And I hope that nobody out there is still looking at Zillow and thinks that that's an accurate reflection of what market value is, because it's not. If you're looking at a Zestimate, I am very sad to inform you that that number means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Total garbage. As evidenced by that Zillow's algorithm that they use to determine what they should pay for homes when they were in home buying mode, that went out of business. They closed it down. It was a horrible disaster. Zillow Zestimates are absolute trash. They mean absolutely nothing. If you have a question about the value of your home, you must speak to a real estate professional who will give you a very accurate estimate of what your home is worth. And if that's something that we can help with, we're happy to. And also, I'm happy to keep everyone up to speed with the values of any particular subdivision or city. Any information that you want to know as it relates to South Florida real estate, please reach out, call, text, DM, or leave a comment down below, and we will bring you up to speed. I have an amazing team of all-star real estate professionals that will absolutely get you plugged into the most current and best data. But if you're looking at Zillow or any other portal to get a feel for anything, you're just looking in the wrong place. So hopefully that's helpful. So if you're even thinking about moving to or living in South Florida, you've got to give me a call, text, DM, send a carrier pigeon, a smoke signal, by any means necessary, because we've got your back when it comes to moving to or living in South Florida. And until next time,